Welcome to Tentative Title with Tim. This is a podcast about creativity, about process, about filmmaking, and about screenwriting. Welcome everybody back to the podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope your week is starting off right. So today, what I wanted to talk about was the idea of community. And it's been, at least this past year, it's been quite lonely because of the fact that a lot of us have been in lockdown. This pandemic has been happening. We've been getting a lot of bad news consistently for a long time. And it just feels like the walls were kind of closing in a bit. And it was quite depressing at times. And it felt like I was alone at certain times, and even though I was here and I had people to talk to, which I was lucky to have, and I could talk out some of these things with my family and my wife, but when it came to my professional community, that was where I felt the most this disconnect. Not only because of the fact that we weren't able to jump on projects and work together, which that was contributed to the idea of this kind of splintered community over the past year. Even though I was able to stay in touch with a lot of people, I was able to still kind of work out ideas, but it felt like a lot of things were on pause, and that the community of filmmakers, even though some people were still continuing to make work and still kind of doing small productions, it seemed like a lot of the community kind of just went off and was doing their own thing and just waiting for the pandemic to subside, for a vaccine, for just this sign that it was okay to get back on set and to really start working again. But also, being a writer is a very lonely job to have as well. And sometimes it's easy to forget that there's so many people out there who are looking forward to the next thing you're going to write, but also that there's a community out there who wants to build you up and wants to make sure that you succeed, because if you succeed, then they also will, succeed. So that whole idea of the community has grown stronger this past year. And I don't want to say that it wasn't there before, because once you find your tribe, once you find the people that you're going to work with for the rest of your life, hopefully, that becomes your community. That becomes the place where you can grow and to challenge yourself to be a better artist, or to be a better director or writer or actor or whatever it is you're pursuing. That there's that group there that you've found that are going to be with you for a very long time. And that is really important. That is you can't do almost anything without having a group of people who believe in you, who want you to succeed, who want you to do great things, because that's kind of how this whole thing works, right? And I think, at least for me, I'm gonna personalize it as I often do. I often feel like I'm not good enough to be a part of the community. Having this imposter syndrome constantly popping up, constantly getting in the way of the fact that even though I may not be to the level that I want to be, I'm still at a level at which people still want to work with me, that they want to do projects with me. They want to, be associated with me. And that is that is a part of just being a part of this that like I think I've kind of neglected a lot as well, because it doesn't have to be that way. At any moment, people can turn their back and say, you know what, I've been helping you all this time. You're not helping me. There is this cycle, or not cycle, but the circular helping each other out. And when the I guess the scales get tipped more one way than the other, it can create some friction. But that's kind of talking about the maintaining these relationships and maintaining this community, which is extremely important to do as well. So I'm kind of like going all over the place, but let's just talk about the idea of trying to make something. And there have been examples of people who have had no crew, had nothing else but themselves to shoot, to star, to edit, to sound mix, to do everything just to make a film. And that's fine. Like, there were a lot of kind of one-person films that came out of this pandemic. There were also a lot that were there even before that, because sometimes you feel like going off and having complete creative control over this idea that you've come up with, and usually it's small, and you just go out and shoot something, and you put it together, and it's just you and you're kind of like following your bliss, so to speak. But when you're trying to do something big, it requires a lot of people. It requires a lot of talented people who can kind of see the blind spots in what it is you're trying to do. And like, I know it's very easy to slip into the idea of not wanting to like take notes and not wanting to like kind of mesh somebody else's opinion into what you're trying to make. But that is the creative process when it comes to making a film. It's very collaborative. It's very much the best idea. Hopefully you have a work environment with the people around you that the best idea wins, and it doesn't matter where that idea comes from, but it's all about what makes the film better overall. And not to say that like pride doesn't get in the way, and that you kind of get your feelings hurt when you feel like you have a really great idea, or if the idea was yours to begin with, and now all these other like I said, opinions are coming in and kind of like maybe picking apart what you thought was good about the story. But sometimes that can be a good thing, because like there have been plenty of times when I've had where I thought I had a great idea. I thought it was bulletproof. I thought like, wow, this is the best I've ever done. And I have some really honest friends and colleagues who say, you can do better, or why didn't you go this way? Or like, I thought this character was going to do something else that makes a lot more sense. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that does make a lot more sense. Why didn't I have that character do that? Because that makes a lot more sense than the choice that I had. And having those relationships, having that back and forth makes me stronger, makes my work stronger. And I appreciate like those people. I appreciate everybody who I collaborate with, because every single time I get a note from them, regardless of whether or not I think it's valid, it makes me a better artist overall. And just being able to engage with the projects and to have other people challenge my perceptions of things, and to just challenge my work. Like, as much as it's easy to say, yes, I want that, but it's much harder when it actually happens. But I really appreciate that. And that's why, Like, you really need a community of people around you. You really need people that you can like send your work to and just say, hey, I really need your opinion on what is going on with what I'm trying to do, or like, especially when you're stuck. Like, it's extremely hard to reach out to people and say, I'm having a hard time breaking this story, or, I have this edit and I don't know what to do with it. Like, it's a very humbling thing to do, and it's extremely hard to do because it means that you're accepting the fact that you maybe aren't the genius you thought you were, or that, it's like, but the funny thing about that is that happens all the time. Like, the professionals are always giving their work to other people to critique and to pick apart and to, try to get to the root of what's good about about what they're trying to do, and to, just sift out all the bad ideas. Like, the professionals are not locking themselves away from their community. They're actually embracing their community. They're constantly calling on their community and saying and asking for help. And a lot of people love to have their opinions heard. Like, if there's anything that social media has taught us about human beings, is that people love to put their opinions out there. And when you're working on something and you get to talk to your community and you get to say, I have something, please tell me what you think about it, they will jump on it, and hopefully they're honest with you about what they love and what they hate about it. And why would we not want to embrace this? Why would we not want to to make ourselves, like, make the work that we do better? Maybe not on this particular project, because maybe you've done everything you can to, like, if it's a done movie and you're like, okay, I can't do anything more, but here it is, I'm putting it out into the public. What do you guys think? At least it gives you some fuel for the next one. And guys, I understand that criticism is hard. Like, so many times I've heard of people who have gotten like tons of praise for something, and then there's that one person who absolutely hates it, or who just has something negative to say, or picks out something that was done wrong, and all that person can think about is how, like, that one negative review or that one negative note, and I get that. It's just human nature to want to please everybody, to want to make sure that what you're making is at the highest quality, that everybody's going to love it, that, your praise, the praise machine keeps going for something you've made, that you put all this work into. It feels good to have made something, and to have people like say that you did a good job, or that they really loved what you made. Because, as you all know, it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of self-doubt, and just kind of like pulling yourself up every morning to say, you know what, this story matters, what I'm doing matters. It's such it's such a minefield when it comes to the psychology of creating art. And it's such a thin foundation of that like, it could basically be toppled by one person saying something negative about it. And I've been there. I hate that moment, because sometimes it's valid, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just, maybe that person was having a bad day. Like, it could be nothing to do with what you made, but the fact that that person was just having a bad day, they happen to turn on your movie, and then they're like, you know what? I don't like the fact that this person made something like, they succeeded at a goal that they were trying to achieve, and they did it. I can't do that. My life sucks. Bad review. You never know. but sometimes like it's legit and they're like, yeah, your characters were flat, the plot made no sense, blah blah blah, any number of criticisms for for what you made. Now, I mean, we can make the distinction between like the community of which is your audience, who you're making stuff for, who have like rallied behind you and want to see the next thing. And then there's the community of creative people who are helping you to like make the stuff, to make sure your craft is getting better over time. And those are two distinct like areas of the creative life, and they both need to be cultivated. Like your audience needs to be there to watch the next thing or to read the next thing that you're making, or else you don't have a career. But you also need to have like all the people on the inside who are helping you make that thing, who are coming up with the better ideas and helping you bring it to life. Like those people are also important, and that's the professional side. So like both communities are important, and they both need to be cultivated, because like you need both. And hopefully there's this overlap, like the Venn diagram. Like hopefully the people that are helping you make your stuff are also the people who are going to show up to like watch it as well. I mean, also because they want to watch it because it's their work on the screen. So they want to, they are there to support you, but they are also there to support, to be there to say, hey, I was also in this thing. I'm going to branch out to my audience, my community, to show them what I did and to, create a bigger audience around the film or whatever it is you're making. So it just I'm coming to terms with the fact that like since I feel like I turn inward a lot, I'm an introvert. It can be extremely hard for me to put myself out there, that to continue to bring people in when I don't feel sure about what I'm doing, is I know for me is a part of the work that I need to start doing more of, because I like to kind of like play in the sandbox for a while and create things without anybody saying anything about it. But once I hand it off to somebody, once I email a script to somebody or email like an idea, or once I put a film out there, it's like it's there to be critiqued, and it's there to either be loved or hated, or to be like not noticed at all, which is also completely is also part of the whole thing, because there's just so much content out there. But that's a podcast episode for a different day. But yeah, community. If you don't have one, get one. There's plenty of groups online, on Facebook, they're on Twitter. Like they're out there, and they are so willing to help you get to where you want to go. And especially if you put it out there, hey, this is what I'm looking for, people are going to show up. Now, it may take a little while, because like since there's so many people out there, since there's so much out there, sometimes people don't know what they can offer to you. But sometimes if you put something specific out there, there will be people out there who are like, oh, I know exactly what you're looking for, and I have that thing. I can help you. I want to help you, because people love to be useful. People want to be a part of something, and it's just putting it out there, putting it out to the community to actually bring them in and to help you make your stuff. So, like I said, if you don't have a community, if you don't have a tribe, if you don't have, just people that you can go to help you, build your skills, just do that today. Like go online today. Go find a group that you can be a part of that can help you grow, because like it just we need it. Like we're human beings. We are social creatures. We need each other, and we especially need each other to see our blind spots and to see like what we're doing well and what we could work on as well. And especially if you can find people who are way more experienced than you are, that's going to get you even further. Like you don't want to ask somebody who's starting out, hey, how do I get here? When they're like, I don't know, I just got here too. I just figured out I wanted to be a screenwriter yesterday. I have no idea what I'm doing, So look for those people who have been around for a little while and can kind of talk you through what you need to do next, or to like take a look at your script or whatever, although with that, like with scripts and stuff, like obviously there are some people who will not read scripts because it's it's a liability. But I mean, you have to build those relationships first. Like you can't just email somebody off the bat, say, hey, I saw you online, I see that you've been in the business for like 10 years, here's my script. It's like that's not gonna work. So you gotta build that relationship first, and then if it's to a point where you feel comfortable and they feel comfortable exchanging scripts or work, then do it. Figure out how to do it, or not how to do it, but like set up that arrangement. So anyway, guys, speaking of community, I appreciate you guys. I'm trying to build a community with this podcast. I hope I'm bringing some kind of like entertainment or information, or just like killing a couple minutes, not hours. I haven't worked up to having an hour-long podcast yet, but who knows. But yeah, I appreciate each one of you. I hope you're doing well. Once again, we still got to wear the mask and social distance and wash our hands and all that kind of stuff. And I'm taking it day by day. I hope I want the day where we can kind of look at this pandemic and say, yeah, that time sucked. It was it just we can't go back, but it happened, and now we got a hold on it, and we can move on as a society, and we can be healthier and all that. So all right, guys, that's all I got. I will talk to you on the next one. And also, if you want to connect with me, I have a email for the podcast. It's tentative.title.with.tim.podcast @gmail.com. Also, I have a Twitter account for the podcast where I post episodes, and that is @title_Tim. And you can find also on the Facebook page, I have a page for the podcast, so you can connect with me there. Looking forward to hearing from all of you, and until then, I'll catch you on the next one.